What's up, Internet? Welcome back to the Faraway Island podcast, or the untitled Pokemon podcast. We've returned after many, many moons. I am here with my co-host, Whaleborne. How's it going, dude?
It's me. How you
Yeah.
going?
Yes, so, roughly a week ago, or maybe even longer than that. No, yeah, roughly a week ago, we had the Pokemon Day Presents, and we wanted to kind of talk about it, and then as well, because it has the wind has died down just a wee bit on the presentation, and also how kind of boring it was for the presentation, because literally nothing was shown, and the only one thing that was new, no, sorry, the two things that were new weren't great.
Yeah, it was pretty lackluster
Yeah,
for a Pokemon day. Like it was
literally
like
the biggest day of the year for Pokemon.
yeah, and it was probably the shortest Pokemon presents that I've seen actually.
Oh my god, I
Are
think
they
you're
that are they
right.
that sh- are they that short normally? I honestly think aren't they like normally 20 minutes?
Yeah, they're roughly about like 20 minutes.
This one was only 13, not even 13.
Not even 13. Oh my gosh. I
Uh,
didn't even
I
make
mean
that
it's probably because ZA is so far away comparatively to like most of the games they announce.
yeah.
Like if they normally when they announce a game, it's like coming out next year or like this year, like like this, this year or whatever. But yeah, it was pretty. It was mainly just mobile apps that were.
Yeah, mobile apps and then a announcement for something.
There was a Unite thing
Oh yeah,
from
true.
memory
Oh yeah, that's right. We had Maridon is coming into Unite.
for like the 6 players that still play it.
Apparently it's still pretty popular
Is
according
it
to some
though?
groups that I'm in. To some groups that I'm
Okay,
in. Yeah.
maybe it's because it's so hyper specific. Because like I'd never see it anywhere. Like nobody that or like nobody that would like show up on a recommended is playing it. I see
Hmm.
like the occasional streamer with like 3 viewers in it with Unite on, but that's about it.
Talk about me.
No,
I
actually,
mean,
but
I haven't streamed
if
it
you wanna
anyway.
if you wanna take it personally, if you wanna take it to heart, mate, you feel free. No, but anyway, but that the rest of that's not important because the important thing is what happened at the end, obviously,
Yep.
and most
So
people are aware of it, if not all.
honestly, I was hoping there'd be a bit more to it because it was only 2 minutes, that trailer.
Yeah, but also like I think they wanted to generate some hype because I don't think they're necessarily ready to show. I think they wanted to gauge the hype before they showed the rest of it. Um, Especially since I think they will show more soon. Not like in the next month, but maybe next 2 to 3. Definitely because like uh, I need more explanation on a few things for sure.
Yeah.
Um, like for one, on one hand, I'm actually kind of impressed that they're going in the direction they are with it. In that, like, it's all in one city, but there are a few things that were brought up that honestly, they need to clarify how a wild encounter is going to work, if at all, because you're in
I
a city.
actually have a theory or two on that actually, but we'll get to that
I was gonna
later
say
on.
we'll get there. Um, and the second thing is, and this is more of a like we'll see when we see it, right? Type shit.
Yeah.
But how are they gonna make the city interesting enough to not immediately turn off the game after like 10 minutes, or not 10 minutes, maybe 30 minutes? But you know what I mean. Like if the city's too dead, then the whole game's like falls apart.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because the problem with a lot of the games recently is that the environments have been dead, dead. Even the cities don't feel that good. Like maybe in Scarlet and Violet they're a bit better. Because I know Sword and Shield they were horrendous. But in Scarlet and Violet, like there's an attempt to at least do something there, but it still doesn't feel as good as it could be, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of the scary thing about making anything open world in any way is that if you make it open world, it's like you've got to try and fill it up with stuff. Not every single square inch of it has to be like content, but you know, if you don't have things just, I don't know, like you could have like stalls in the streets and fucking, I don't know, maybe like maybe like every month there's a Pokemon parade event that happens and like shit happens in there. I don't know, you could do some cool shit.
Yeah, they
It's
can
the
definitely
modern era,
innovate something.
especially since like you can update the game like because obviously with DS games you couldn't do that. You couldn't be like, oh yeah, let me just download the update
Yeah, let
that
me
does this.
let me update my Pokemon Sapphire real
But wouldn't that
quick.
be cool? They could do like bloody, you know, like festivals and shit that like are in the world of the game rather than just like, oh, it's a mystery gift event or something. It's literally
Hmm.
like a full event that happens. That could be really big. Like if they do that kind of thing, I mean, again, this is completely extrapolating. They had no hint of this, but this is the kind of thing that would make an open world game in general, just feel more alive. And in Legends Arceus, that was also a problem people had too, which was that the world kind of felt really shit. It was cool to kind of be like going around and stuff and like all that stuff, but the novelty wears off, and then eventually you're like, well, there's nothing to do now. Um, Obviously, like we've talked about Gen 5 from here and back about like the end game aspect, um, and how good that was. So if they can do something like that in an open world game, it would actually be really cool. But until they do it, you know, mm.
We're kind of stuck with what we got.
Yeah. Um, a lot of people I saw were saying that Pokemon ZA was going to be like a kind of not modern like current day type thing, but like more of a back in like the, I don't know, like the 40s, 50s type era
Yeah,
thing.
it's
And I
really
thought to
weird how
myself,
they depict the word, because Pokemon did use this, by the way. They put the word modern in parentheses, oh no, in parentheses, in air quotes, which is
although depending on your perspective, the
yeah.
problem is, right, historians and stuff, for example, they say modern is like in the last 100 years. So like that could be like, or even like it really depends on the scale we're talking about. If we're talking about in the Pokemon, like the full timeline, then modern could mean anything. Because when was Legends Arceus even set? Like
That's literally what I'm
thousands of years
actually
ago?
searching up right now.
Like, because it feels like a generations back type thing. Like not Pokemon generations, but like hundreds and hundreds of years ago type thing. Because yeah, it's
So
weird.
roughly about 150 years ago.
Only 150? Jesus
Mm-hmm.
Christ! What miracle did they find that it made the society develop that quickly? Although to be fair, actually,
The
no. To
development of
be
the
fair,
Pokeball.
no. Well, maybe, but to be fair, in real life, literally from like 1901 or just 1900 up till like current day, it's insane. Like what, 124 years, and we have like some crazy shit, right?
We've
So
got
I mean, it's
like
not entirely.
phones. That's definitely like the
We
main
got
one.
phones. We've been to the moon.
I mean,
Like, you know, okay, fair enough. Actually, never mind. 150 years, whatever. Um, but um, if anything, they're actually slower than us. But anyway, um,
fair enough.
I lost the train. I lost the train. I went off. No, but right. Modern, yeah, modern can mean anything. So like, I still think it'll be like before Lumiose is fully built. I still think it'll be like a full city type thing, but it just won't be like the skyscraper
Yeah, it
thing we
won't
know.
be the modern that we know from X and Y.
It won't be Kalos as we know it. It'll be, or Lumiose as we know it. It'll be like a proto Lumiose, and then like the redevelopment is building the current one, right? And that makes sense. But I'm curious how that's going to involve the story, if it is, because they clearly said it was like a big deal. It's like redevelopment plan for Lumiere City, and it's like, okay, how's that going to do anything for the plot? Are we just gonna go around being a handyman, woman, person?
Yeah.
Right?
I
You
wonder
know,
if
it's
no.
weird.
I'll wait for that when we get to like the proper discussion. I'll I'll
Mm-hmm.
I'll, I'll hold that thought.
Okay.
But
Um, Go on.
so what
Sorry, I've
else
been
do we?
talking a lot.
No, that's all right. So the other stuff that we got, so Pokemon Go stuff. So primals are coming back into raids, which is cool because I didn't get to do that, and I want to do primal raid for once and go. Pokemon Masters EX 4.5 year anniversary celebration. For those who still play that, I don't. I never really got into it crazily. And then we got Pokemon Cafe Remix. That's also something I never really got myself into. Pokemon Sleep. I'm back on the grind on that because I saw that we having our first legendary encounter being Raikou.
Let's go.
So yeah. So what the event foretells is they didn't say when it was going to happen. They just said March. So it's happening later this month
Hmm.
for the Raikou event. So I was like, oh, okay. I mean, at least I'm getting myself back into like playing it again. So I guess that's fine.
Do you really play Pokemon Sleep though?
Yeah, I mean, it's not really play. It's more of like you do the few things you
Participate?
need to do, and then you go set it, put your
Yeah.
phone to the side, and yeah, that's it more or less. That,
Yeah.
this is game, pretty good game.
The one time I tried Pokemon Sleep, it like stopped working halfway through the night, which was cool, and so it just like recorded half of my sleep, which was awesome. Anyway,
Yeah, it's really weird with that. I find.
yeah, I even made it so that my phone like wouldn't sleep, like because it tells you to do that or whatever for some reason. They really need to figure out a way to make it not do that.
Yeah,
It's really
so does it
frustrating.
just close the application?
Yeah, I tell you what, it probably would have saved my app there because I think that's what like was killing it anyway.
Oh damn.
Uh, but apps are cool and all, but like again, like I don't know why they made a presentation at all. Like a Pokemon Presents, they probably should have just made a trailer, like a premiere for it, and then just aired it, and then people would have been even more excited because it just came out of fucking nowhere, basically. Well, I say nowhere, but it was Pokemon Day. But
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, right? It's like no one would have suspected anything. And also, people wouldn't have been led astray because people were so baited on the live stream because everyone thought it was going to be a Johto thing. Because Johto this, Johto that, with every other game on there. And then it was Kalos. Don't get me
No.
wrong, I actually like Kalos, at least as a region generally. But I totally get why people were mad that it wasn't Johto because it's like literally everything was pointing to it on the stream. Like everything.
Or even Unova because we're doing that what they'll talk because it's usually like the time where they'll do the remake for the region. So because we did
Personally, I
had
hope they
Gen
never touch
4.
Gen 5. I personally hope they never touch that generation again.
Yeah, I feel like that could be the reason why they skipped straight to Kalos
Yeah.
because they didn't want to touch it. Mainly because, so for people who aren't too heavily aware, so because we have Black and White and then Black and White 2, because Game Freak did mention if they were going to make another title for the Black and White franchise or the series, sorry, they would make a third game, which will most likely just explain a bit more about the third or the original Dragon. Sorry.
Right. I'm hoping they do a Legends game on it because, like, Gen 5 is like the best generation to do it for, and maybe Gen 2 because of like the like what's it called? What's the place called? The Burnt
The
Tower.
Burn Tower, yeah.
Is it literally just called the Burnt Tower?
Yeah, it's just called the Burn Tower.
Okay, that's really creative. Anyway,
It was
um,
1997, man.
that's not an excuse.
We were very
You could have called
creative back
anything
then.
else. You could have, I don't know, Bell Tower. At least it's,
We had the Sprout Tower. Is that good enough?
Is that not enough for you?
We got the Tin Tower for Ho-Oh.
True, actually. Never mind. But like the Burnt Tower, and then like you've got all the, and like Heart Gold, especially Heart Gold and Soul Silver, allude to like years of tradition behind like Ho-Oh and Lugia. And mainly Ho-Oh actually.
Yeah.
Lugia, I'm not really sure on, but like I know for a fact Ho-Oh had a lot of tradition surrounding it because it's like the bringer of luck and all this shit.
And then as well with the music for Ho-Oh was very is very
Oh
traditional
my
sounding.
god, it's so good. Don't even get me started. We're not talking about that today. We're not talking about that today.
Yes.
Music is not on the agenda right now.
But yeah, we're definitely going to dive into that in the future because I know you are one of the biggest.
We need like a tier list episode or something.
Oh, that's a good idea.
We get like a visual podcast episode. There you
Yeah. Oh, there we go. That's probably going to be the first video podcast we have.
Wow.
Stay tuned for that in like
Yeah.
3 years.
Yeah, in 50,000 years.
I'm kidding. Nah, I'm going to be a bit more vigilant on this. Don't worry.
It'll either be 1 week or 50,000 years. Take your pick.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That second one seems pretty promising to me.
Yeah, for you. Anyway. I think.
All right, so I'm generally surprised that there are not more dislikes on the video personally.
On the
presents video, yeah. I thought it would have been a bit more disliked, but no. 74K to 6.9K.
Well, the main thing is that the final announcement sweetened it, right?
Yeah.
So like the rest of it, no one gave a shit about. But it's like, oh well, okay, that's not true. A much smaller amount of people
smaller
gave a shit.
audience.
Yes. But definitely the ZA announcement was like the big thing, right? And everyone was like, "What?" And also Mega's coming back is the other thing that everyone's like going apeshit about.
Mm-hmm.
Because and like I was so happy seeing that because as you know, ever since Gigantamax became a thing, I'm like, Mega Evolution should have just stayed the gimmick. Or like the new gimmick.
It should have been something they should have kept evolving to an extent into the game. Yeah.
Well, okay, no pun intended. No, pun intended for you, not for me, though.
Yeah. There we go. But yeah, they should have kept it because it would have definitely made the game a bit more, hooking for other audiences.
Yeah. It's also because like, if you keep that mechanic, people are like anticipating what the new megas are going to be every game, right? And it's like, even if people aren't necessarily excited about the story or whatever, they're still excited about the megas or that kind of shit. When you say Gigantamax is a new thing, it's like, oh, well, the same thing's gonna get it that got the megas last time, and it's like, yep. It's like, oh, I guess that's kind of cool. And then granted, terrestrializing is a bit different, but the point is more like just, okay, like, why do you have to change the mechanic every time? It's just bizarre to me. It also makes it like, because some people argue it's like, oh well, it changes it up, right? Like it makes the meta fresh and all this other crap, and it's like, that's true. Counterpoint.
I was about to say
new megas also do that. Funnily enough. And also you can just balance the megas. They've done it before. They nerfed Mega Kangaskhan.
Oh my god, yeah.
Moraz. Because parental bond was such a problem. Like it was like borderline anything goes. Like I feel like Mega Kangaskhan, if not for Mega Rayquaza back in Oraz, or sorry, after Jesus Christ. The order is terrible. So Mega Kangaskhan was before Mega Rayquaza, but the only reason Mega Rayquaza is in Anything Goes, right, is because it can Mega without a Mega Stone. But like, I feel like if Kangaskhan stayed at that power level, I think it would be on the same tier as Mega Rayquaza, to be honest. Because of how much like power it got just from existing, basically.
Yeah.
It's like power up punch and you get it twice in a turn and you attack twice. It's like, holy shit.
And there's one when you get that power up punch, it's actually really insane. Because you get pretty much go back to just having standard Mega King. Oh, the first attack being, no, the second attack not being halved, was it roughly?
Yeah, the original was halved, and now it's quarter.
Yeah.
So parental bond used to be 50% of the damage or the original damage. Now it's only a quarter of the original damage, which is still pretty good considering that, like, you know, you can just chip someone down pretty easily with it.
Yeah.
Um, but definitely, like, definitely, it's I don't know. I think a lot of Pokemon were begging for like mega evolutions in the past. I have a favorite that Brandon knows,
Mm-hmm.
and I will scream from the hilltops and the mountaintops and whatever until it gets one. But at the same time, like I know other Pokemon probably deserve it more. But Mega Yeah Mega needs to happen, and it needs to be a bug dragon, and it needs to have like just it has to have these things, right? Like I think I have a document somewhere that lists everything that needs to happen somewhere. Well, not a document, not a written document, but anyway, I have a document, right? But anyway, things like Mega Ampharos, right?
Yes.
That thing was so good. Nobody used it, right? But that's because like it was slow. So like people kind of went like, Trick Room's kind of, it's fiddly, Mega Ampharos though was kind of insane, especially with Mold Breaker. Well, actually, Mold Breaker was kind of a mid ability on it, but you know they gave it a different ability. Adaptability would have been nice. Hell, even let me think. You could even make a new ability for it. Who knows, right?
Like electrolyte or whatever.
Remind me what Electrolyte does.
No, that like an
Oh,
example for a made up
I
ability.
honestly,
For
I
like the
honestly thought that was an
electric.
ability.
I don't think it is. But the
That
electric
should be an
equivalent of
ability.
like pixelate or
Oh, Electrolyte, Electro, yeah,
yeah. So
that
it'd
could
be
work.
the electric equivalent.
Hyper Beam, fucking
Oh, that'd
Ampharos.
be awesome.
That would be sick. Yeah, or or you can make it so that its dragon and electric moves are both types.
Oh, that would
So
be
you could have a
interesting.
Draco Meteor that. So it's like, you know what I'm talking about, right? With like how Flying Press worked back in Gen 6 with Hawlucha, where if
Yeah.
it hits something that's weak to fighting, it'll just calculate it as a fighting type move. And then flying if it's like weak to flying. So
Hmm.
basically just, or it's just both types at the same time. I don't know how the coding works, but the point is you can make it so that essentially all of Ampharos's same type attacks are both types at the same time, which would be pretty cool. Anyway,
It would have
but
made
that's
the
just
meta
one.
very interesting.
Right, exactly. But this is the point, right? Is that like you can with megas, you can make new abilities. And I guess some people would argue Alolan forms kind of do that, but they don't do it to the same power level as a Mega Evolution does, right?
Hmm.
Like with blah, blah, blah. Now technically, actually, did Agro is Mega Aggron the first Pokemon with Filter as an ability?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I'm right. Because I was thinking, is that Furfru? And I'm like, no, Furfru had Fur Coat,
Fur
which is
had
the
fur coat.
physical version.
Yeah.
Filter's just a straight like nerf to super effective attacks in general. Speaking of Mega Aggron, what a powerhouse in disguise. Nobody even thought that thing was going to be good. And then it became one of the strongest tanks in the whole game because it was able to actually hit you and also tank a huge amount of damage. Scary. If you run like a Mega Aggron with Rest Sleep Talk and like, I don't know, Body Press or whatever, Heavy Slam, uh-uh. Don't screw with that thing. It's like, I don't know. And even like Mega Beedrill. Remember when Beedrill existed in the meta? Me
Yes.
neither. Until well, at least until before the Mega. Like I don't remember. Maybe a niche, but like even then, it's like a bit of a stretch. The stats were terrible. And then Mega Beedrill came in and said, "What if I literally just broke the game?
And then it
What if I
did
just what if I
a
just
little bit.
ran Protect? What if I just ran Protect and then had Poison Jab, X Scissor, and Drill Run as my offensive moves, and then I killed everybody?" And it did. Adaptability is gross. Also, the design was sick.
Yep.
That was another thing too. The Mega designs were on point. I don't think a single Mega was like actually disappointing to me. even ones that people like say are like kind of goofy, like a Mega Obama Snow. I think that looks sick personally. Mega
Alright.
Obama Snow was dope.
So we have Mega Abomasnow, Mega Absol, Mega Aerodactyl, Mega Aggron, Mega Alakazam, Mega
Yep.
Altaria, Mega Ampharos, which I just talked about, Mega Ordino.
That the most forgettable Mega on the
Yep.
planet personally. I actually maybe not, but
M-
go on, keep going.
Mega Bayonet,
Oh yeah.
Mega Beedrill, Mega Blastoise, Mega Blaziken,
Oh, you got
Mega
my alphabet.
Camerupt. Yeah.
Mm. I
Um,
forgot about Mega Camera Up actually. I'm not gonna lie.
that thing had sheer force.
Yeah, no, actual god ability.
Also 20 speed. So imagine using him in Trick Room.
Trick Room team with
Oh boy.
Eruption, because I think I could learn Eruption.
Yes, I would have been able to learn Eruption.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh,
man, that
Mega
would have been so cool.
Heracross. Oh my god, Skill Link Heracross.
We had the Mega
Remember those
Charizards.
days? Oh my lord.
Ew. I do remember those days. I made my cousin use Mega Heracross in
Yeah.
a tournament. It was really funny. Well, it wasn't like a tournament per se. It was more like a charity event that they held back in
Right.
back when EB Games held events, and now they don't set times. But
Mm.
is what it is. We've got Mega Gallade, Mega Garchomp, Mega Gardevoir, Mega Gengar, which everybody loved, Mega Glalie.
Mega Glalie was a weird one. I think that was the only Mega design I was like, really? We're going with this one? But it's like, there's probably some sort of origin to the
the design
art or something.
probably.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably.
All I know is that in the lore, it just
Possibility.
can't close its mouth because its jaw is broken.
Frozen. Yeah,
Yeah.
or broken or something.
More or less, it broke during transformation. So, rip
It's kind of
Glalie.
morbid.
We've got Mega Gyarados, Mega Heracross we just talked about before, Mega Houndoom, Mega
Yeah.
Kangaskhan, of course, who can forget? We've got the Mega Latis, so Latias and Latias. Those two were very. I
I
don't
think if
know.
they were blue and red, they would have been
Yeah,
good.
I
But
feel like
like
if
the
they
fact that
were
they're the same color.
be able to differentiate them, which I think there was only like one thing I can't remember. It was,
I think it was literally their flight height. Like
oh really?
I think Latias flew lower than Latios.
Yeah. Great, love them. We got Mega Lopunny, of course. The fan service
The ripped
of
stockings.
Megas.
Like, and you even like Jesus, they knew. They knew.
Yeah, especially when you watch the Mega Evolution. When there was the Oras like animated trailer, and they showed all the Mega Evolutions. Like, yeah, Mega Lopunny got a bit more screen time than others. We got Mega Lucario, so that was one of the first ones we saw, I believe.
Yeah.
Let's see, Mega Manetric.
Yep.
Ooh, Mega Mawile.
Mega
that was a very good Pokemon.
Meta defining Pokemon. Meta defining. Play rough with huge power on Mega Mawile was actually like unbeatable. I don't think. Well, okay, not that's not true. But like, it was hard to get rid of. Like, even burnt Mega Mawile would still hit really hard.
And then as well, it's the first Pokemon with the no, not the. It's just got a really good typing, Steel
It's
Fairy.
got Steel Fairy. It's good defensively, and it also hits other fairies pretty much like as hard as you can. It's got access to things like Iron Head, Play Rough, which are two of the most like the strongest physical type moves of both of their types. It's got Sucker Punch, I think, as well. I think it ran Sucker Punch for like quick kills, especially with Pure Power or Huge Power.
Huge
They're
power,
both the
yep.
same damn ability. It's the same ability, just a different name. And I think it ran Swords Dance as well, because like if someone tried to predict something, you would just Swords Dance, and then your team would just die anyway.
and then you can just spam fake, sucker punch, not fake out, but it
Yeah,
does get access to fake out, I think.
yeah.
Yeah, Mega Mile,
Uh,
a very good Pokemon, and then Mega Medicham.
Mega Medicham is underrated. It also got pure huge power or whatever.
It had pure power. It had the other it had the other version.
Same ability.
Same
Um,
ability, different name.
that thing with high jump kick, bullet punch, it got access to bullet punch, and it also had psycho cut, which is high crit ratio already. So like double attack plus high crit, just like did some interesting things.
It definitely did. We
Yeah.
got Mega Metagross as well.
Oh, another. Yep.
Just tough claws. So, you know, reuse of the ability. Mega Pidgeot. So we got no guard on that. So it was just pretty much a hurricane spammer.
Hurricane spammer. Yeah.
You got Mega Pinsir, which had Aerial 8.
Mega Pinsir was also meta defining. Aerial A quick attack with Swords Dance, or like a Moxie boost from like a KO from the previous shit.
Oh, true, true.
Because you get the Moxie boost on base Pinsir, and then you'd Mega Evolve, and then you'd quick attack spam, and you'd just win. You quick attack, and then if if they didn't have a weakness to flying or a neutral to flying, you just brick break them. It's that good shit.
Yeah. I didn't get to really use it a whole lot myself, so.
Yeah, Mega Scizor.
Mega Sableye. That was a
That
Pokemon that I used a lot back in the day.
that was meta defining for a while, and then it kind of dropped off.
It dipped. And I was like, well, I'm still going to use it for like a little bit.
Because but it was mainly because people initially were like not afraid of Sableye, and then they realized that you could run Prankster Sableye and then get Calm Minds off for free, and then just Mega Evolve and have Magic Bounce.
Yeah, so pretty
With
much ignore all of the hazards and as well like potential
all the
will-o'-wisps. Yeah.
It's not even Will-O-Wisp. It's like Paralysis and Sleep were the things that it really didn't want, because it was already slow, but Paralysis just makes it harder to hit you consistently, and then Sleep is pretty obvious.
Yeah, Sableye dropped to 20 speed when it Mega Evolves.
Mm. Yeah, I mean it's already like 70 speed, isn't it? I mean, it's like
50
base form.
speed in
50?
base.
Oof, it's even worse.
Pretty
Yikes.
bad. And then next up we have Salamence, pretty much like the main meta Pokemon next to Mega Kangaskhan.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, Auras, I'm gonna be real, because I think Salamence and stuff were all Auras Megas, right?
yes.
That's when Mega's starting to get a bit shit. Although, granted, I will say, Pokemon like Mega Garchomp, for example, like, some people would argue that didn't need to exist, and that's fair. But here's a counterpoint. At least they make it slower, right? So there's actually a negative. With Salamence, it's like, where is the negative? Like, I don't see one. Same with Metagross, really. I mean, technically it gets slower, right? But you never used Metagross for speed. You used it for attack. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although you
Mega
could run,
Salamence got
okay,
zero negatives out of it. Everything
okay.
was positive.
To be fair, actually, thinking about it, Metagross did have one thing where it's like you would run agility because they couldn't lower your stats, so you could run agility and then you just meteor mash everything to death
Yes.
because you were fast. But again, like the things that Metagross can hit hard against, it resists or it already outspeeds anyway. So yeah. Mega Bomber Snow. I used the hell out of it. I know a lot of people didn't. I personally think it should have become. I think it should have just been a pure Ice type. It would have had a bit more of a defensive capability. But then I guess also it would have kind of lost a lot of utility too, because grass is quite good for staving off things like sleep powder, spore, all that kind of shit. So
I
if you really wanted it for that,
I think it was like later on before they made grass types
safety goggles.
immune to
Oh
well
yeah,
grass
wait,
types
was it?
immune to yeah.
I swear that
I
Gen
think
6 was the gen for that.
I think it may have been Gen 7 where they introduced that.
A lot of Gen 6, I remember Gen 6 was like there was a lot of shake up for that kind of thing. I know in Gen 7 that's when Prankster stopped working against dark types.
Yes.
That was terrible. I'm sorry, but like that's a terrible change in my opinion. God, I hated it. It's like, oh, cool. So Incineroar, the most dominant thing in the game right now, is now resistant to status priority. Fantastic.
Yep.
What a great decision. Anyway,
Unless you use
Mega
soak.
Sharpedo. Okay, yeah, but like, who the hell?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, I
I
would
don't
use
know why,
soap
but
as like a
soak's just been stuck in
meme.
my head for a while. It's
Yeah.
just something funny.
Normalize.
So we have Mega Sceptile still.
I feel like Mega Absol could have been really
Oh
cool, but
yeah,
they just kind of.
I was really disappointed with Mega Sceptile. Giving it
Oh
Lightning
yeah,
Rod.
Lightning Rod is like the worst ability to give it possible.
I
Actually, well, that's not true, but it's pretty up there.
we could
Like
have given it something so much useful.
even thick fat would have been better, and yeah, it wouldn't have made sense. But it's like at least it does something.
Yes, instead of just not.
But technically, Lightning Rod gives you special attack on the electric hit, so it's pretty good still. Okay, yeah, but like everybody knows not to hit a Mega Skeptar with an electric move then, right? Because it's like, why would you? And the only time you're ever gonna get it is when you predict switch in, but it's like, it's just not worth it.
Yeah,
It's one special attack stage. You're just not gonna care. Like,
it's
what do you
just
think it should have gotten? Like, contrary?
that would have been very very helpful for it, especially with
Like,
just
you could use
Leaf
special
Storm.
Sceptile a bit more.
Uh,
But the problem is then physical Skeptile gets shafted, so you could have maybe simple? Is that the one?
Simple
What's the
that
one where it's like,
doubles.
yeah, it doubles stat increases and
Yeah.
decreases as well, right?
Yes. So
So
it does both.
Leaf Storm would like really screw you up, but if you ran physical Skeptile, it would be even better.
Because I'm pretty sure it gets access to Swords Dance, if I'm not mistaken.
It does. Okay, maybe not simple. What would be Speed Boost would be too broken. We've seen Mega Blaziken. Um
Hmm.
Because Swampert has Swift Swim, which is pretty good.
Yeah. So it has to be something that's very beneficial.
Because the thing is, Skeptile is already pretty fast, so it doesn't really need.
Yep. Base
Speed.
145.
Yeah, that's pretty high. Jesus. Um.
No,
hmm.
not sheer force.
Tinted Lens.
I was looking at that, but I don't know.
It would make it so it could hit like so. The issue with Skeptile is that like it gets switched into a lot because most of the tanks, especially in that game, were steel. So if it got Tinted Lens, grass type moves wouldn't give a shit about resistance. They would just hit normal, and so would dragon type moves. So I think it would be fine.
Or it could even have chlorophyll or even leaf guard, potentially.
Leaf guard's like the thing where it's like if you have sun out, you resist shit, right?
You can't get status.
Yeah, this one, yeah.
Yeah.
Eh. Or maybe like um a new ability where it's like on switch out, it's able to resist one status condition application. So basically, like if something were to status you, it just resists it, but only once per switch in. So you'd have to switch out to like get it back, basically.
Right.
make it something to do with its tail, considering it can get rid of its tail and grow it back like
Oh,
instantly.
or aftermath. That would have been very interesting. Because like when it goes down, it could shoot off its tail, do a bit of damage.
Yeah, it's true. Maybe
There we go. There's some thought for that.
food for thought or something.
Yeah.
Hell, even a regenerator, like
Oh yeah. True.
anything. Like literally,
Like
the point is like literally anything but lightning rod.
yeah. Literally, any of these abilities that we talked about, considerably better than lightning rod.
Honestly, I honestly wonder if they should have just given them enhanced versions of the base abilities. So
Like a better overgrow and stuff like that.
yeah, like instead of blaze, it's called like inferno, and then like um overgrowth is like I don't know. What would what would it be for overgrowth? Like mega overgrowth.
Oh, I can't remember what the thing is
Blooming?
called.
We'll just call it bloom.
Bloomed, blossomed.
Yeah. Blossom. Yeah, that could be good. And then Swampert would be like, cause torrent, and then call it like tsunami. Cause then, cause the thing would be instead of having to be at 50% health, or lower, you have to be above 50% health to get the bonus.
Oh, so
I think
instead
that
of
would
it
work
being
perfectly.
what is it,
So it's
a
reversed.
third?
So no. So because it activates at 50% or lower, no? I thought anyway. Like the regular ones, I mean.
Hmm.
So the other ones would just be the reverse of that. Instead of 50% or lower, it's 50% or higher, which would make it really good because if you run like Swift Swim Swampert, for example, you suddenly have a double speed Mega Swampert that now has 50% extra power on its water moves in rain. Yikes!
Imagine that. That'd be pretty cool. And actually
Actually,
give
it
it
wouldn't have
a
Swift Swim. Never mind.
yeah.
Because it would
It
have
wouldn't
level
have that.
ability.
Yeah, because we'll have the
Still though,
water ability.
it would still be pretty terrifying if you weren't ready for it. I don't know. Swampert was probably a bad example, but the point is, could have had some better abilities across the board. I mean,
Yeah.
well, okay, that's like okay. To clarify, I'm not saying that Speed Boost and Swift Swim are bad abilities, but I am saying that it's really inconsistent because we have two with really good
Good,
ones
and then one with
really bad.
one that just was like, why
Either
even
make them
bother?
all good or why even bother? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. Like Glalie gets Glaciate, and even though Glalie wasn't used much because ice was kind of terrible, still kind of is
It's
terrible.
kind of
but
is
let's
like
not get
yeah,
into
really
that.
bad.
But I think what Hale should. Okay, here we go. Tangent time. You know what Hale should do, in my opinion, instead of increasing the defensive ice types, which is completely useless on 90% of them anyway. How about you lower the speed of every other Pokemon type except ice by like 10%, or one stage of speed?
On one stage, yeah, I feel like that'll be.
That would be fine in my book because it's like, realistically, how many ice bugs are there that could proc Sticky Web for one, right? And like, I know obviously you wouldn't, that someone would find a way to do some shit like, safety you'd have like safety goggles, Galvantula or something, and you'd have sticky webs with it. Safety goggles? Do safety goggles prevent weather effects, or is it the other thing? There's another thing.
Safety
Right?
goggles. It doesn't get pelted by the storm
Yeah.
back
Okay.
then, so
So I
yeah,
was right.
so it ignores
Yeah,
the
cool.
damage.
Cool. Yeah. So safety goggles, Galvantula, and then like just sticky web, and then you can just switch it out whenever you want, and then like the rest of the team's just the ice team that just will kill everything. You know what I mean? Like it's just like, is it a bit insanely good? Yeah, but also is ice like literally the worst type in the game right now?
Pretty
Kinda.
much, yeah. It's pretty
I don't.
bad.
I actually think it is. Even normal type, which considering it has no strength, is still better than it, and has less weaknesses than ice. Fun fact. It has one weakness. It's just it's kind of pathetic.
It
It's like
really
I think they kind of need it.
needs something
Honestly,
a
because
bit more.
even if hail did no damage anymore, but it lowered speed by one stage, that'd be massive, 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 massive. Because you'd get Pokemon like hell. You would even be able to do shit like well, you could have Mega Glalie, for example, because it's like Mega Glalie's speed I think is 90 at base,
I can check.
maybe 100.
Where
Pretty sure
are
it's 90 though, from memory. And then base Glalie is 80 speed.
Base 80 speed for regular Glalie, and then Glalie gets 100 speed.
Oh, that's close.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it. But anyway, still, 100 speed isn't that good. But with the hail reducing speed, suddenly it actually becomes kind of good. Right? So, like, a lot of ice types' problem is that they're too slow. And it's, like, baffling, again, because you've got a really frail type, but you're making it move slowly for the majority of Pokemon that you make.
Mm.
It makes no sense. There are some exceptions, obviously, like Weavile and Frostlass and like shit like that, but it's just, yeah. I don't know. It's just always bothered me that it's like, yes, let's give the literal weakest type the slowest speed imaginable.
And then just the defense increase. Sound good to me?
Hey, Avalug,
Sounds good to me. Yeah,
how
cool.
much usage do you get? Zero.
So much that it's not even rated.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what gets me the most? You know what makes me actually just like lose my shit? They thought that giving rock to Avalug was a good idea for a form. Hey guys, how are we gonna make Avalug more viable? I know. Or more interesting, I know. Let's give it another weakness that does nothing for it.
Let's make it 4 times weak against,
Four times weak to fighting, steel, the things it's weak to.
the types that's already weak to already.
Steel is the worst one because it's like, out of all the things, it would have been so cool if they did like a fire ice type. Granted, it still would have been weak to so much shit, but it's like, it would have been cooler, ironically. But it's like, because it could have been like, I don't know, like a Heatran situation where it's got like ice on the outer part, but like there's lava inside and its legs are like made of lava and shit. That would have been sick.
It does like glow with it on its mandibles. So maybe, yeah, they could
Maybe.
have done something potentially in draft, but then for some reason,
And
like,
then they
nah,
went,
let's
whoops,
make it rock instead.
let's make it rock. Which again, rock isn't necessarily a bad type in and of itself, but with ice, it's like you're putting a sign up that's neon with flashing lights and arrows around it saying, "Hit me with the hit me with steel and fighting, please." Just do it.
Please one shot this Pokemon.
Please one shot me. And the worst part is I'm pretty sure it loses sturdy in the Hisuian form.
Oh, I can't remember what it gets.
I think it gets Rockhead.
Oh no.
It could be Rockhead. I'm not sure. I'd have to look it up. Man, am I gonna have to look it up now? Hold on. Hisuian Avalog.
Where is?
How did Google figure out what I was typing now? I was
Oh
typing
my.
gibberish. Hisuian Avalog. Is it gonna tell me or is it gonna be annoying? Because sometimes the way they list this data out is so annoying. Strong jaw or ice body?
Oh, it does get sturdy, but it's a hidden ability.
Right.
Why?
I mean, sturdy won't even save it because it just gets killed by priority the next turn.
Yeah, but
So
why even bother?
yeah, If it was ice and steel, even, I mean, granted, it still would be weak to fighting, but at least like steel's a decent typing. Like, if they made it ice and steel and then gave it filter as an ability, I think it'd actually be alright. Oh no, but then it's weak to fire. And it's like literally the most common thing to use against ice.
Yeah.
God damn it. I don't know, make it ice and fucking
Okay, ice fire. There we go.
yeah, we already said that.
Yeah.
But
They should just left it at that.
I think they just need to change ice in general. I think firstly, ice needs to be like resist water, because for some reason it doesn't, or be immune to it. Either one, because like ice and water, like what happens if you put water on ice? You know, it's just gonna make ice. So like, I don't know. It's frustrating.
Yeah. You gotta love Pokemon types.
Yeah. Anyway, back to megas.
Yes.
Megas are cool. Only concern, to be honest, is if they are gonna make new megas. I'm hoping that it's ones for Pokemon that people aren't expecting, but also deserve them.
Yeah. So Pokemon that do need them, but obviously something we don't we wouldn't
like
have personally thought of.
Mega Lediba. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Does anyone even remember that Pokemon exists until I just mentioned it? Probably not, because that thing got forgotten by most people. What else? Let's ponder.
Mega Furfuru, maybe.
I know it's Gen 6, but let's not.
So we're gonna completely keep Gen 6 Pokemon off the table.
No, because some of them do deserve one, but just
Okay.
I want to do other ones because there's so many more Pokemon outside of Gen 6 because Gen 6 had the least amount of Pokemon added in a game. So
Yep.
uh
So funny enough, like it was the day of Pokemon Day. Well, when the stream came out for Australia, because it came out the day before. It came out like 1 a.m. So I joined Whaleborne and a few of our other friends on a call, and we just talked about it.
yeah.
Yeah, it was quite the interesting thought we had, and yeah, finding out that Gen 6 was the lowest of the low for new Pokemon releases.
Yeah.
And we didn't even get forms back then, by the way, for people who weren't familiar. So we didn't have like, what is it, Colossian forms?
Yeah, Calosian or Calosian.
Or yeah, so we didn't have those forms.
But we had Megas, and Megas were cooler.
Considerably.
Because I think the other thing that was cool about it was essentially, because it's a Mega evolution. It's essentially like what would happen if this thing evolved again, right? It's not necessarily, and it's not permanent or anything. It's not an extra evolution. It's not a form. Well, I mean, it is a form, but it's not like
permanent.
Yeah, it's just a kind of what if scenario type thing, and it just was really cool because for a short time you kind of got to glimpse into the mind of the artists and like what they would expect the Pokemon to do after, like, or to like look like after a certain amount of time, right? I guess in a way, like Mega
Yeah.
Venusaur is an example where it's like it may not be like crazy different, but it makes sense for sure. Like I would expect that. Mega Alakazam, I love the beard. The beard's sick, and the mustache being like the width of his whole body is awesome. Mega Gengar is like a bit of a weird one in terms of like you didn't expect it to be like this, but you're also not mad about it because it's really cool.
And then as well, Mega Gengar Shiny.
Oh my god.
That
The purple hue, the white into the purple hue on the back is so sick. I love that.
did Gengar Shiny so much justice.
Mm. Um, and then there's like the two Charizard Megas, which still annoyed that he got two
Yep.
and the others didn't get two. But anyway,
And don't forget
Me-
Mewtwo got two as well. Can't forget
I
that.
mean, yeah, but honestly, I don't mind that as much
Yeah. Well,
because
we
it's a legendary, and also because there was like a whole movie around it,
that is true.
like
The
the
Genesex
fact that it,
movie,
yeah,
but we only saw the Mega Mewtwo Y, I believe, in that film.
because it was the more popular one. They knew it was going
Surprisingly,
to be the more popular one. I think Mega Mewtwo X is way stronger, but that's just me. Like
I
just
I
generally speaking,
I liked Mewtwo X.
I liked. Okay, I kind of don't like either of them, but if I had to pick one, it
Pick
would
one.
definitely be X.
Yeah.
'Cause Y just looks too much like an embryo. It's too weird. It's weird.
I don't like
Like
that
I
its
get,
tail, its ass moved to its head.
I kind of like that part in terms of like obviously not because of that reason, but because
Yeah.
it's just I don't know it definitely pertains to its psychic nature in a way, right? Because it's like focusing on that.
Because in the
And then,
what was it? It was like a theory or something that because its tail moved to its head, it's got even more like psychic potential
probably who
or
knows
something like that. I can't really remember.
something theory. Um,
Yeah.
but like and then there's things like Mega Steelix where it's got like, the crystals poking out of it and stuff. It's like, oh shit, it's turning into like a crystal now instead of steel. That's
It's
sick.
almost like they're hinting at the crystal onyx that everyone's been talking about for many
Wow.
years.
But you know what I mean? It's just like this kind of because obviously we know these aren't real evolutions, but it's really cool to see like the kind of potential designs that we would have gotten if there were more. I don't know how to explain it. Mega Garchomp, for example, it's like that's another one where it's like, damn, that's pretty sick.
What if
Because
Garchomp got more powerful?
no, but it's like Garchomp, but like his like fins turn into scythe hands now,
Besides, yeah,
which makes
his
sense because like as it evolves throughout its evolution line, the fins get bigger and bigger, and then by the time it's like a Garchomp, it's like borderline. I mean, even in the anime, like it uses the fins to attack anyway, right? But
yep.
in the mega form, it's like, well, it makes sense now that they're essentially just its freaking arms because it's like, yeah, it's just attacking with them all the time. Might as well. Salamence, they totally like. I'll be honest. I think Salamence is the only one where I'm like a little weirded out on in terms of like the direction there because most of them are like, yeah, I can see the natural progression of that. But Salamence is just like, yeah, I feel like it was made just for the silhouette because it's like a crescent moon.
And there's well,
Yo, it's like crescent, it's like roaring moon
it's like
from that
Roaring
one
Moon,
game.
yeah. Or even like they were alluding to the next titles, Pokemon Sun and
Wow.
Moon.
Whoa, no way. No, but straight up roaring moon is just Mega Salamence, but slightly
Yeah,
like more detailed, I guess.
a bit more rougher on the edges. I feel
I do
design
like roaring
wise.
moon more, but it's I hate the name still. Anything that's named that pathetically deserves to be binned. And before you go, oh, but like Mega Absol, it's just Absol, but with the Mega in front of it. At least it made sense because yeah, it's like a Mega Evolution, Mega Low. Like you're not gonna say like I don't know, perfected Lopunny or something. It's just weird. It's Mega Gallade and
Mm,
oh shit, and I don't know. I'm just rambling.
yeah.
But at
Uh,
least it's not a permanent name, is what I'm saying.
mm.
It's like
And they
Roaring Moon
didn't
is
put the
stuck with
word
Roaring
mega
Moon.
in the name.
Yeah, exactly. Mega
Absol.
Tile.
Absol just listened to a little bit too much of My Chemical Romance. Mega Evolves.
Okay, but let's be real, it's sick.
It does look really cool.
Don't know where the wings came from, but I don't care because it looks cool. Mega Banette is also cool because it's like the spirit is like kind of busting through the physical space. Because it's like a revenant, right, or something of like a discarded doll.
Yeah, it's pretty much. Oh, what was it? I can't remember the lore at the top of my head for
I'm pretty
Bayonet.
sure it's like a revenant, and he like possesses a doll, and then it's like, you threw me away, fuck you.
Yeah, you threw me away. Now I'm going to haunt you.
Yeah. Altaria also makes sense. Camerup makes sense.
Mega
Mega Sharpedo.
Blastoise is interesting.
Yeah, but it also makes sense. Because, like, it's already got bloody cannons in its shell.
Yeah.
It makes sense that it's like, yeah, fuck it, I'll just get arm cannons now. Um, Mega Slowbro is also like the like epitome of like what I'm talking about, where it's like,
Yeah.
you know, what would this Pokemon evolve into if it was able to evolve again? And like slow, it would make perfect sense if like the because it is a Shelder canonically, a
Yes.
Shelder like on its tail like completely essentially just swallowed it whole, but it like busted through the shell basically, and it's just chilling.
He's got his little
Mega
head poking out in
Kangaskhan
his
makes
arms.
sense because the baby grew up, and I like that idea because it's just like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, as well,
Mega Pinsir's just
it's a
like,
native Pokemon from our region.
yeah, Mega Pinsir is just Game Freak saying, what if we made him more pointy
What
and
if we made
fly?
Bug cooler?
Mm. Mega Gyarados is an interesting one, but I love it.
Turns into a massive shrimp.
It's not a shrimp. It's really not a shrimp. Mega Aerodactyl's an interesting one, but I also, if you look at its, well, not even really, but like, it would have been cool if they went back to his original design and kind of added the black rock stuff on him, but like only in little bits, because then his Mega Evolution would have made even more sense, because he gets like stones that sprout out of him and stuff. I will say I wish a bit more changed on him. Like I wish he got 4 wings instead of 2 still.
Kind of like
But that's
a Crobat situation.
well, I mean,
Where like his
I know
feet will turn
Crobat's
into
famous
wings.
for the 4 wings, but like Crobat didn't invent 4 wings, all right?
I know. But like that type of design.
I guess so, yeah, but it would still have like its legs. So, but like pretty much all of them, like I could totally see like, yeah, that seems like a natural progression, except Charizard X. That one's a cash grab and a half.
Yeah, Charizard X was just
Charizard Y looks perfect. Charizard X though, why?
what if Charizard actually became Dragon type?
Also, what a terrible shiny it had compared to
Oh,
Charizard
it was
Y
like
anyway.
a disgusting green, wasn't it?
It was a green and had red underwings. The red underwings were fine, but the green was terrible. And then Charizard Y was like, yeah, what if I just did the shiny before, but like with the cool model now? And it's like, yes, give me that. Charizard Y just felt more like Charizard than Charizard X, personally. I know a lot of people wanted it to be a dragon, so that's why people like Charizard X, but let's not kid ourselves, right? If Charizard Y was a fire dragon, everyone would love Y more. Everybody. I don't think a single person would disagree at that point. But because it's still fire flying, everyone's like, oh, I don't know about that. Anyway.
Let's see what else is there.
But yeah, anyway, the point is of all this is just Megas felt like a really appropriate in-universe way of doing it. Of like doing a mechanic that like kind of elevates certain Pokemon to higher potential. Gigantamax just feels like a band-aid. And so did Z moves, to be honest. But like Z moves could have been fine if they were just called like if they weren't tied to an item. If they were tied more to like, you know, if this thing has a stab move and so on and so forth, and you can only use it once. throughout the battle, but like it would change the entire dynamic because you wouldn't have to use an item for one, which would make every Pokemon that came in kind of terrifying in a way because you wouldn't know what your opponent was going to use it use the Z move with. But of course, because it's an item, you know instantly because you know what item they're holding and shit.
Yeah.
And then Gigantamax is just like, well, the only like most of the Gigantamax, like the ones that actually change the form, are banned because they give more health. The Dynamax ones don't, but actually yes they do. Never mind, they do.
Both.
I think Gigantamax though, I don't know, there's something else with it, but pretty much all the Gigantamax that I'm aware of are banned. But the Dynamaxing was just kind of like poor man's Mega Evolution.
Reverse.
Reverse.
Dynamax is the game mechanic. Gigantamax was the ones where
Poor man's Mega,
they had different forms.
Yeah.
So yeah, the poor man Mega Evolutions.
Because the thing is, I didn't hate the forms or anything. I actually think they look really good. But it's just like, why would you even make Dynamax if you already had this concept before? Do you just want to make them bigger because actually, you know what? That's exactly what it is. You just want to make them bigger because it's like, whoa, look, they get bigger now. So we can sell more copies because it's slightly different. I said it before, but like, Pokemon has become the iPhone of Nintendo.
Yeah.
Here's a new phone. It has a better camera. What else? That's it. Cool. I'll pay another like $700 to $800 for that. You know, it's the same thing, just scaled down, obviously.
Yeah.
And a bit less ridiculous. But the point is, it's still basically the same. There isn't a lot of innovation between everything, and like we were saying, Gigantamax is just megas, but like dumbed down slightly.
And as well, they only last for 3 turns.
Yep. And then you get terastallizing, which I actually think is a good mechanic, but I think they could have made it less goofy.
With the hats, I'm assuming.
Sorry. What?
So with because they're wearing like the type hats, so it makes them a bit off-putting for you.
If they had like, even if it was just like a floating aura thing, so it's like crystallized like symbols of the type they were or something, and they would just like kind of float around them or something, like that would be better. Because it wouldn't interfere with like, I don't know, it just looks so shit. It was so close. It was like, this is really cool. And then it just fucking sucked. Even if imagine terastallizing and your side of the field becomes this like crystalline like scape of like a river or something. So like it's made of crystal, but it's like a river or some shit.
Oh, so it changed the environment.
Yeah. So it's like this thing's now water, and like you can tell because you know the whole goddamn battlefield is now water. I don't know. That could have been cool, and because you can only terastallize once, it would have made sense because then you could have essentially you would have changed the theme of your own battle, like your own battle arena area, and then it would have stayed like that the whole battle and then when the terastallized Pokemon faints, it could fade away because then that way it can visually tell the other person or remind them, oh yeah, they don't have terastallize anymore, right? Like it's just like for some people they'll go like, oh, but that's so much like effort for like such a small thing, but it's like that's the kind of shit that people will fucking love in the long run, right? Because people love it when like devs, and it's every single game that does this kind of thing, not devs, the audience loves it when the devs put effort into all of it, not just the big shit. Small stuff like that makes the game feel better, just in general. Even if it had all the frame rate issues and all this shit, if terastallizing and all that shit was there, I'd be like, you know what? That is really solid. That is actually sick, right? But because they don't go the full mile with a lot of these mechanics, it just feels so cheap, right? It's like Gigantamax, the form changes, but it's like, why do they become big? Realistically, what is the point of making them larger? Is there a point? Like,
Um,
other than lore, because lore is determined by the mechanic, not the other way around. I refuse to believe that they wrote the lore before making the mechanic. Because it's like, I mean, even with Megas, that's probably the case to an extent, right? Because they probably made
hmm,
Megas and went, well, how do we write this? But at least with Megas, it felt a bit more grounded. A little bit.
yeah.
But with Gigantamax, it's like, why are you making the Pokemon bigger? They literally can already kill people. Like, canonically in game. So, like, what the hell? Like, why the hell are you making them larger? Do you want to kill a whole city now? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And you find an arena that barely can contain two of them. What happens if one of them falls over?
What if we're able to Gigantamax multiple Pokemon or Dynamax?
Exactly. No, but this is the thing, right? It's like it brings up too many questions, and like I know it's a Pokemon game, but it's like it brings you out of it. With Megas, it made perfect sense because it's like they're roughly the same size. It doesn't really matter, right? And like some people will go like they won't care, right? Because it's just like whatever. But subconsciously, you're still thinking about it because it's like I don't know. It just happens in a lot of things, right? But in Pokemon's case, it's like they think that because it's not real, that no one will care. And it's like to some people that's true. But your brain subconsciously will always be like a little put off by things that aren't consistent or like just they just don't really seem to have a reason for existing. Um and I feel like a lot of people that's why they like Megas more and you can tell when people saw the trailers and shit for ZA. Haha, I brought it back to ZA. Is anyone impressed?
Haha. He brought it
Ah,
back.
I brought it back. I tethered it back. But no, but with ZA, like you see a lot of reactions to it, and it's like people were more hyped for the mega part than the actual game. Like when people saw the mega part, everyone was like going apeshit because it's like, well, okay, let's be real. Half of them were fake, but the other half were like genuinely excited that a good mechanic was coming back because, like, you know, megas were fucking cool. Megas were good. Megas were fucking yeah. It was just I don't know. It just felt better in the universe.
Also to make people feel a little bit old. That also could have been people's childhood. So like their first Pokemon games, getting into like
That's what's crazy too.
the
Yeah, exactly.
gimmicks.
Like Pokemon X and Y came out. Oh God, what 2013?
Yep, you are correct. X and Y. Yep, came in
That
2013.
came out when I started high school. Yikes! God damn, I feel old.
And I
11
feel
years
older.
ago. Ugh.
Yeah,
Blech. Blah.
and then as well the addition of it being the first worldwide release of a Pokemon game
That and it was the first 3D game.
and the first 3D game. So there are so many factors, like for X and Y.
Yeah, it's just like yeah, it may not have been the best game, of course, but like the excitement around it was huge because like of the 3D and all this other shit. It was moving into a new dimension, literally, right? So it was kind of big. I mean, obviously later on, people were like, "This is kind of terrible," but we also found out later that apparently the game was going to be a lot bigger, but then they had issues
Mm-hmm.
halfway through and rewrote the whole thing, pretty much,
Yep,
which
and
was a travesty for me because it's like I already know for a fact there's no doubt in my mind, right? AZ was supposed to be like either the main antagonist or like essentially like way more of a part of the story than he was. There's like no doubt in my mind because he shows up obviously, but he shows up like 4 times.
yeah, and then like
And,
really weird points. We just go,
yeah, and then
oh,
at the
okay.
end, the ending of X and Y I think was actually really good. Like that ending fight and then the whole cutscene with the Floette coming back, that was really good. But the problem with it is not that moment itself, but it's the fact that like we barely know him. And like we barely know like yes, we hear about the history and we can kind of infer it, right? Obviously, because it's like, well, okay, yeah, it's him. But it's like you still don't get the I don't know, it's hard to explain, but you don't feel connected to him at all because it's like you're just hearing about it, and then at the end of the game, it tries to make you cry, which is like, I mean, granted,
It was a bit
it's
of
still
a
pretty good,
special
but it's
moment,
like
but yeah.
it was good, but it's like I don't know, it just fucking shits me because it was such a good moment, but it was just on a bed of shit that they clearly wrote up at the last minute because they didn't. They were like, oh, this is too. I don't know. This is too mature for a Pokemon game, probably. Because I mean, to be fair, they did talk about some pretty crazy shit, at least in the backstory part with AZ, where like they're talking about like the war and like how his Floette died, like actually died.
They
not
literally do
fainted, dead.
mention death.
They don't mention it by name,
Well, yeah, they don't mention it by name, but they pretty much
but
do a
they
massive
they pretty much like
reference.
yeah, it's like they didn't say death, but they whacked you over the head
They
with a
didn't say
giant sign that
kill.
said death. Yeah, exactly. It's like they gave him a tiny box, and it's a coffin with like Floette's flower on it, and it's like Jesus Christ, right? But it's like, I honestly, I think, I think themes like that are important to a degree in kids games because it's like, or just in kid media because like,
Mm.
obviously you don't want to just be like, you don't want to like shove death at them like fucking like death, and it's like terrible. But what I mean is like they could have done so much with that whole thing. Um, like they could have. Oh, there was so much shit, man. I had a whole synopsis for like a different X and Y game, basically. Where AZ's the main villain, but the only reason he's the villain is because he's essentially like I don't know how to explain it, but I'm gonna use Thanos as a reference here. He's kind of like Thanos in that like he knows that some of the things he does are terrible, but he also knows that the goal that he has at the end, well, his vision of like the victory at the end, which is reviving Floette or at least getting Floette back, right? That's the thing that drives him and like basically steers all of his decisions. And basically by the end of the game, what I was in retrospect, obviously, but like what I would have hoped for was like AZ eventually kind of realizes like the damage he's done to like do all the shit he's done, and then kind of actually accepts that Floette is dead. But like, I don't hate the ending that we got either, but it's like I think that would have actually been way more like crazy in a good way because it is a happy ending, but it's also like there's still a lot of shit, right?
We're missing so much context to some degree.
What do you mean?
Well, it's more
Ambiguous.
yeah, that's it.
It's a more ambiguous ending because it's basically saying like yeah, he did a lot of terrible shit. And he didn't actually win. But also like it's also good that he's, finally accepting this fact, right? And like I guess that would have it's kind of like with Black and White too, Black and White as well because I think that's like kind of why people thought it was because some people didn't like that N was kind of just suddenly fine, but I don't think he was. Because he left trying to find himself, right? Like that was the whole point. That's why he left. If he didn't leave, then I would have understood why people were mad about it. But it's like, no, he leaves because he doesn't know who he is anymore because he's been lied to his whole life. So he's like, well, now I gotta go find my own meaning again. And so he leaves, and that's what the farewell at the end of the game is. Because he's like, right, well, when we meet again, we'll be new people again. Like,
You'll be a
and that's
changed
really,
man.
but that's really cool. I like that kind of shit. But like, I don't know, they could have done some really impactful shit that wouldn't have necessarily been graphic. Because that's the thing, you don't have to be graphic to teach people about death or teach kids about death. But it's like, if you don't do it at all, then like, what kind of world are they going to grow up in, right? Like, or like what kind of, mental world are they going to grow up in, right? It's like, if you don't prepare them a little bit, then they're just going to be screwed, metaphorically. But yeah, it's just I don't know. It would have been a lot more impactful, basically, is what I'm saying. I think, but I don't know. I don't know. At the end of the day, people always just make the argument of, oh, it's a kid's game, who cares? And it's like, but that's so reductive. It's like some of the best media we know of is kids shows, like The Last Airbender.
Oh, yeah. That's a very good example.
Like, what a crazy, like, no one expected, like, when the first show, like, the first episode of that show aired, did you think a single person at that time thought this is going to be one of the best animated pieces of media ever? No, because of course they didn't. Why would they?
Mm.
But it's also the same with Pokemon. It's like when in 1999, 99? It was
For
99, right?
when it came out, or when Pokemon started?
Yeah.
95.
Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it. Damn it. Actually, yeah, no, 99 would be too late because 2000 and someone was like, yeah, you're right. You right. Fair enough. My bad.
Oh, good.
But still, in 95, like, those people that played it as kids back then, and then they grew up, and then they played Gen 5, right? The difference is, like, insane. But, like, they never would have thought when they were a kid that they'll even get close to this kind of thing. Right?
Yeah.
And I guess... I don't know. I'm not saying that stories have to be, like, dark and gritty, right? But I think they should be good stories. I think the excuse that it's a kids game is actually ironically childish, because there's a lot of examples in modern media that point to the opposite, where it's like kids media actually ends up being weirdly more adult than adult media. I mean, just look at Rick and Morty versus like other shit, right? Like Rick and Morty is an adult show, quote unquote, but honestly, it's pretty like, I mean, obviously it's got themes in it, but it's like, it's much more crass, right? And just kind of juvenile with it. But in kids shows, it's actually the opposite. They treat those themes like, you know, an adult would. Right? And I mean, I kind of get it, because, you know, we're getting into some real philosophical shit.
Yeah, we are.
Now. Yeah. Anyway,
I was
this
like,
is a Pokemon podcast. Welcome.
Pokemon, where we get to the real deep shit.
Anyway, back to it all.
All right.
The point is, just fucking, they better not fucking keep reducing the story down, because it's gonna piss me off. Damn it.
That's it. All right. So let's talk about ZA. Something.
Shit.
So I was very surprised that we're going to see another Legends title. So this man here, Mr. Whaleborne here. Oh my God, you gave me a bit of shit. Like, you're like, oh yeah, I knew that, or I had a feeling they were going to do something like that.
Oh
yeah, you completely rubbed it in, and I absolutely took my lumps.
I called it so hard. I'm like, it's either gonna be black and white remakes. Actually, no, I said it was either gonna be Unova Legends or it was gonna be Kalos Legends, because it's like either one of them could probably work. Because I was like, you could have Unova Legends with like the original dragon, or you could have Kalos Legends with the war. And I wasn't 100% right, but I was pretty much there.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Which I definitely I thought was very, very interesting that they're going the Kalos route. So redo it.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry for that, lads.
That's all right. So for ZA, Legends ZA, so what I thought originally, having a few thoughts, because we're stuck. It looks like we're going to be stuck at the city. We're not going to be able to move to probably like other areas of Kalos, from what it seems, since we don't have much context for what is going to be happening. I feel like we might have sort of less a rental team or a pre-made team done for us. And they'll obviously have like probably Pokemon between the levels of, I don't know, maybe level 15 to 20 at the beginning, and then it will obviously go up from then. At least that's what my initial check is. My initial thought was for for Legends ZA, and that the story will pretty much be based on Lumios with the probably hopefully pushing a bit more back to like AZ stuff, or at least he makes a cameo in it.
Yeah, I mean, AZ might be. He might end up being the kind of Volo fight of the game,
Ooh, okay.
perhaps. The kind of pinnacle fight.
Hmm.
But I'm also unsure because it's just we don't know enough, right?
Yeah.
But oh, I don't know. It's difficult to like say. I I'm hoping like I was saying earlier, like I hope they try to keep it alive, as in like sorry, try to keep the world alive consistently rather than just kind of leaving it. Um, it would make it feel like like there's shit going on, obviously, right? But
Hmm.
it just sounds obvious, but it's something that Game Freak has struggled to do with their open worlds, which is actually make it feel like there's stuff going on in them. Other than the story, and then the story's over, and then it's over forever because you're just wandering inside of a, you know,
Yeah.
it's yeah. I'm I don't know. I'm interested. The main thing as well, because I was again talking about this earlier. I wonder if, like, I just want, like, if we're contained in the city, like, what can we even do? It's just weird.
Yeah, and it feels like because it seems like in the trailer, or at least what we have, like there might not be PvP or even PvE
Mm,
because we're in a city. There shouldn't really be like much battling really involved, but who knows? Maybe
yeah.
I think it's called the Prism Tower, the the gym.
Oh yeah, the Eiffel Tower. You
Yeah,
mean?
the Eiffel Tower.
It's just the Eiffel Tower at this
It,
point.
it, yeah, that
Um.
has the gym underneath it. I think I can't remember.
Yeah. Hmm. I wonder if it's gonna be like a system of like you go out on expeditions and then you catch Pokemon out there and then you come back to the city and then basically like the Pokemon you catch are for like building the city itself.
Oh, yep, that makes sense.
But again,
I feel like
I
we're not
just
gonna
don't
be
see.
going that far either.
Yeah, I
Uh,
just don't see how it's gonna have a story.
And as well, it'll only be like a very select few that you'd be able to catch and help maybe build the city.
Yeah.
Unless we catch like 50 Machamps, then that might help.
Mm.
Oh yeah, so I also have a list. So these are all of the Pokemon that we know are in the game from the trailer. I mean, who knows because this isn't actual gameplay footage, but
Yeah.
anyway. So we got Ekans, Arbok, Pikachu, Raichu, Bellsprout, Weeping Bell, Victreebel, Onix, Staryu, Starmie, Pinsir, Magikarp, Gyarados, Eevee, Vaporeon, Jolteon, Flareon, Aerodactyl, Dratini, Dragonair, Dragonite, Spinarak, Ariados, Pichu, Esper, Espeon, Umbreon, Steelix, Heracross, Ralts, Curlier, Gardevoir, Absol, Hippopotas, Hippowdon, Leafeon, Glaceon, Gallade, Sandile, Krokorok, Crocodile, Emolga, Fletchling, Fletchinder, Talonflame, Litleo, Pyro, Flabebe, Floette, Florges, Skeeto, Godot, Pancham, Pangoro, Verfer, Esper, Meowstic, Honedge, Doublade, Aegislash, Skrelp, Dragalge, Sylveon, Holucha, Klefki, Noivern, and Noivern. So these are the main.
Jeez.
These are the Pokemon that we know. are going to be in the game. So far, there is 66 Pokemon in the game that we know of.
Mm.
And then as well, we're not going to be seeing the game for at least another year.
It's I mean, look again. I'm still like honestly, the story is just the main concern. Everything else, like I could probably see a way around it, but like
Yeah.
the story is just the weird thing. Like, are they just not gonna have a story? Is this their first Pokemon game without a story now?
Probably. At
Like, that's partially a joke, right? But at the same time, it
it's
wouldn't
just
really surprise me either.
yeah, it's just really really difficult to say,
Mm.
especially just being locked into Lumiose. And then as well, I feel like it's just going to be a very very short game
Mm.
if it is. And then as well,
I mean,
I
maybe.
think
Look,
this is classified as a mainline Pokemon title. So
I mean, was Legends Arceus?
yes.
Okay,
Uh,
then yeah, it is.
so hopefully this is, more than like 6 hours of content.
Maybe they mean with Lumiose, maybe like it all just comes back to Lumiose, if that makes sense. So like Lumiose is essentially the main city, and then everything is just like so like you'll start in Lumiose, and then like you'll venture out through the region to like kind of I don't know, recruit people to hell, you could be like the person essentially like recruiting people to build the city with you. So it's like essentially like you know help us make this paradise city basically, and then conflict arises from that journey. I don't
Mm.
know, but like, I just don't know. I do not know.
Especially with so little information, and from what they're kind of saying that we're locked in, quote unquote, to an extent. But
Mm. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, but yeah.
and then as well, so because this is going to be a Legends title, um, so we're most likely, if we'll get that far, um, see maybe alternate forms.
I don't think so. I think megas will be essentially what the alternate forms would
Okay,
have been. So
so they'll probably drop that and then just go straight to megas.
yeah, well, megas technically are a form anyway,
Oh yeah,
right? So
true.
so they'll probably just say, look, these are the new megas. People who are saying there aren't going to be new megas, like there are. It's just that there's going to be no new forms for things or no like region specific forms.
Yeah. And as well,
Like
people are probably going to go, but how does that work into the later titles?
it's like it doesn't. Do you really think they care though? No, that's the answer. It's the unfortunate truth.
Or it could be that Mega Evolution is like such a rare thing because we only have very limited resources, and then maybe we use up all the Glaylanites or whatever, and then they just don't exist in the future. I don't know. Spitballing.
Maybe, but
I don't know. Because all
I
we
don't
know
know.
is that Mega Rayquaza just obliterated a meteor, and that's how Mega Stones existed.
Yeah, apparently.
Or at least in
Although
Hoenn.
it at least yeah, at least it made sense to a degree. Like I'm not gonna lie, at least they tried to make something out of it by going, "Hey, remember like when we said that like megastones came from space or something? This is the
Mega
payoff."
Deoxys?
Yo, that would actually be kind of cool. I doubt they'd do it, at least in Gen 6, but it would be cool.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't think there's like any like crazy thing that I'm really have to mention for theory
Yeah, no,
wise.
it's all pretty much like I mean, yeah, it's all just kind of the rest of it's just we don't know enough, and also the other thing is there wasn't a lot in the stream.
Yeah. Even for like a 2-minute trailer, there
Mm,
wasn't a whole lot in it. Other than obviously just exploring the entire of Lumios.
yeah,
I don't know. They were pretty focused on the Talonflame. Maybe Mega Talonflame. Who knows?
maybe.
Maybe they'll give Kalos Pokemon a bit more of a spotlight this time around for Mega Evolutions. Because I don't think Gen 6, sorry. Because I don't think we got any Gen 6 Megas.
No, we didn't get a single one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Diancie was Gen 7, wasn't it? Gen 8.
Wait, which
Diancie.
one was what? Diancie was Gen 6? No, it would have been Gen 7. But I think it was an
Okay, yeah.
event.
Yeah. That sounds about right. So yeah, we've officially had no Gen 6 Mons that Mega Evolve, so who knows? I'm open to that. I just hope they pick the right ones. Maybe Noivern. That'd be cool.
Yeah, but does it need one?
No, I mean, it'd be cool to see its speakers become like subwoofers or a ghetto box.
That's true.
And then for starters, I would have no idea what they would go for that route.
Yeah.
I just hope they make the right decision. Actually, I do want to see Meganium. I want to see the Chikorita line get a bit more love. So I feel like
Yeah, they are the most
that
simple
line is
design, so
yeah, very very simple and also very forgotten. So I feel like those should definitely get a bit more of a redemption in this upcoming title.
yeah,
Uh,
it's honestly just a summary. It's just going to be really interesting to see how the story's going to work, and the megas will probably be good. Hopefully.
yeah, we could only hope.
Mm.
As and then as well, I hope replayability is a bit better than Legends Arceus.
Mm. Well, yeah, but that's I guess that's what I was kind of talking about before too, where
But
it's
yeah,
like the world needs a bit more life in it. But yeah, that's honestly kind of it. We can't really say much else.
yeah,
Kind of just they didn't give us a lot of like either, so yeah. Oh well.
yeah. It's definitely something to look forward in the future for Pokemon. As for like any other releases, who knows? And there's what I do want to mention the TCG mobile app that they're gonna be sending out. I don't know what the point of that is, honestly. We already have an online TCG game, and just sending packs to people, I don't get it.
Hmm.
That's that. Oh, and there's what because we're on the topic of ice types. Articuno won original
Oh yeah.
Cantonian Articuno. So yeah, full ice moves and Terra Ice, pretty good.
Yee.
Anyway, that's all that I've really got to mention. So thanks, Whaleborne, for joining me as my co-host.
Anytime.
So, yeah, that's it from me for now, and take it easy. See ya.